Hello, my name is Emily Brienza Larson, and I am an English instructor here at the Art Institute. I'd like to talk to you today about staying consistent when you're writing in a certain point of view. So, follow along with me here. What's the point? Many of your instructors will ask you to write in the third person, and you might ask, what does that even mean? And today I'd like to talk to you and show you some examples about how to write in the third person. Because readers become confused if the author or narrator skips from first person to third person or even second person. So here's an example that I found for you from the Community College of Rhode Island, and I think that this really gives a good layout. So point of view really deals with pronouns. What's a pronoun? Well, a pronoun takes place of a noun. So instead of saying Emily, my name, I might use the pronoun I. And if I used your name, let's say you're Bob, I'm going to use the pronoun you. And if we skip back and forth between those pronouns, it's an inconsistent point of view. For example, after I get a college degree, you will get a good job and their career will begin. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? I'm talking about my college degree, so I will get a good job and my career will begin. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So let's look at the first person. You will probably write a lot in the first person. Oftentimes in a work setting, you're going to explain something that you're going to do. You're going to write a proposal, you're going to write a self-evaluation. So you'll use I statements. That's the first person. So I've got that little picture there, me, myself, and I. An author can also include him or herself in a group. So me can become we. So again, authors can be part of a group, so it's a we, and that's still first person. Otherwise, if you're using the me, myself, and I, it's all, again, first person, because you're including yourself. If you're using the second person, you're talking about your reader. So I've got the picture there. Your country needs you. Anytime you use the word you in a writing assignment, that's going to be in the second person because you've addressed your readers. This can oftentimes be a bit unnerving or even offensive because anytime you say, you should do this, you should do that, the reader can get a little off-put by that. So it's really important to avoid the word you unless there's a specific reason. So if you're writing an email to a coworker, by all means, you're talking to that person, so use the word you. But if you are writing to maybe all employees about a change in policy, you might want to avoid the word you just so that there's A, no confusion, and B, no offense taken. Third person is probably the safest point of view to use. It's also the one that most of your teachers are going to require of you because this is what you use in formal writing. So essays, business proposals, maybe even a memo to all those coworkers again. Those should all be done in the third person. So the nouns and pronouns were given, but the author is not included in the story. So you've left I and me out, and the author does not talk directly to the reader. So no I, no me, no you, no we. So here is a cute little picture of names. That's fine. Using somebody's name is a third person because I might say Bob did this or William did that. And I could say people should do this or coworkers should do that. And that really removes that offensive word you. So let's practice. What do you see wrong here in the point of view? Last week, I went to my grandmother's house. You could smell the fresh baked bread the moment you walked in the door. Now, from years and years at AI, I can tell you, I get statements like this quite a bit from my students. And I get this all the time. Even in professional writing, I see things like this. This has switched from I could smell, the first person, to you could smell. So if I walked in, I'm the one that smells the bread. So I have to keep it in that first person. So you could smell needs to be changed to the I could smell. Does that make sense? Another example, students should always take notes when your teacher lectures. Well, students is third person, right? Because it's people in general. But when I say you, I've all of a sudden moved to the second person. So you needs to be there when their teacher lectures. Another example, Jack and Nancy walk to the bus together. You should always walk with a buddy. This is another very common mistake because if I'm giving advice, you, the reader, should listen to me. But again, I've switched from writing about Jack and Nancy, and that is the third person, to writing to you, the second person. So one should always walk with a buddy. So it would be Jack and Nancy walk to the bus together. One should always walk with a buddy. So now we're staying in the third person, we haven't offended anyone, and we, again, have been consistent in our writing. So how do you know what to choose? What pronoun or point of view should you use when you write? If you're writing a narrative about yourself and your experiences, go ahead, write in the first person. If you're writing a business letter, perhaps to your boss or your coworker, again, first person is fine because they're your own personal observation. If you are writing an informative, descriptive, persuasive, any type of essay, it really needs to be done in the third person because it's more formal. If you're writing a research paper, again, the third person. So if you're in English 1010 or English 1020, most of your assignments are going to be in the third person. If you're writing creative stories, feel free to talk directly to the readers and write in the second person. And if you're writing a biography, again, you can write in the second person because you're writing about your reader. Oh, and there we have it. So hopefully you learned a little bit through this brief seminar here with me, and you feel comfortable about writing in the first, second, or third person. Again, I would suggest that you really get comfortable with that third person writing style because that's what you're going to be doing primarily on the job and in college. So get acquainted with it, go over your pronouns, and remember, talk to your teacher if you're confused because we're always willing to help. Thank you.